Hi and welcome back to Alistair Davies Golf. I'm here today at the Amendoeira Golf Resort in Portugal. Please check it out if you're in the area or going to the area. Fantastic facilities and golf courses for you to go and practice your golf, play competitive golf, or just enjoy a relaxing golf holiday. So today's video is all about the release, and in particular focusing much more on how the arms are going to work through the release in the golf swing and what their role is. So keep watching to find out how the arm should work in the golf swing. The release in the golf swing. So I've done a few videos where I talk about the body and arm release. This one I'm going to focus really on how the arms should work through the golf swing and their particular role and what they're going to do. So all through that impact zone. Now, in an ideal world, the body and arms are going to be working pretty much in harmony. The body might be slightly leading the race for me, and the arms will be catching up, but both of them will be rotating. But for a lot of golfers, they can't move the body certainly to the amount I'd want them to do, then they're going to have a more active role with their arms anyway in the golf swing. So let's talk about how the arm should work both pre, during impact and post impact. So the golf club, if we're a kind of neutral or strong hitter, we'd want the golf club, when it's pre-impact, to be club head just slightly behind the hands, left wrist will be fairly flat at this stage, and certainly we'd want to see that the arms are starting to, they'll be continually rotating from the top all the way down. Just like if I had a tennis racket here and I went to hit a tennis shot, there's continual rotation throughout the whole of that shot. Baseball would be very similar too. So it's not a case of they start to rotate to a certain point or they finish rotating at a certain point. It's kind of a continuum as we work around this circle for me. The arms will continue to be rotating, opening on the way back to stay on a rotary arc, and rotating continuing on the way down to stay in the rotary arc. And if that's done correctly, we will get a ball flight that's straight away and straight in flight. So we have to have a certain amount of rotation or release in the arms, I would call it. Obviously, release can be determined in many different ways. Release something is to let go of something. So sometimes coaches and even myself will talk about releasing the lever system, which is kind of this uncocking of the wrist as we come down. That can be releasing energy and relievers. So releasing the club face on the forearms is much more this rotary action that we're going to talk about today. So, as I was saying, just pre-impact, we'd ideally want to be in this kind of shape here. Body's opening up, arms starting, obviously continuing to rotate, the wrists and everything rotating, but the club head will be in this kind of shape here, ideally just behind the hands. So from there, we're going to continue to rotate. The lead wrist will go into this kind of, ideally, flexion, so it'll be slightly bowed or flat. The arm, you'll see here, is rotating. The trail arm will be going from a bent condition into a much more straighter condition through that impact zone. And again, rotating here. Now, as it rotates, ideally I want connection between the right arm and my kind of pec area and rib cage area here. So we get this kind of connection through the whole swing. So you'll see with all these swings I'm doing, the club face is going from a kind of toe up kind of position, a square position, to a kind of toe up position. Now in an ideal world, as the club comes through here, it's going to sit much more at a 45 kind of degree angle. And as we come down, a kind of 45-degree angle. I have no issue if the face is slightly more closed, slightly more open here, but you have to have a balance to what the club face is doing. But if you just think in simple terms, toe up at kind of 45 degrees, toe up at 45 degrees, we need to move the club from one area to the other area. And in order to do that, we need to rotate. And ideally what I'd want to see you do is rotating everything. This lead arm is going to go into much more supination. The trail arm is going to go much more into what we call pronation, this kind of effect. Very easy way of looking at it, very simple way of looking at it is just looking at shaking someone's hand. So shake someone's hand, shake someone's hand. And all we'd want to do with that is just perhaps fractionally put the thumb back to point towards our shoulder and towards our shoulder. So we have a slight over rotation both sides. And that would be the ideal I want to see. Now at the same time the body's going to be working, we're going to be moving our body and chest out the way. So just from here to this kind of action. Now what I'd ask you to do is try and master this with a short swing first. So try and hit like half shots feel you're rotating everything, feel you're accelerating everything, feel that we're extending and posting up. And if we get that right, the ball flight would be pretty straight or even a tiny draw if we overdo it. I wouldn't want certainly any fades with this. We're trying to encourage the squaring up of that club face. So many amateur golfers would have the club face open at contact. You know, top players will tend to have the club face closed at contact. Obviously, the more closed it is, the stronger you become as a player. Obviously, we're searching for square or very close to square, depending on the ball flight you desire. So this little drill is going to encourage the closing and squaring of the club face rather than the opening of the club face. Let's just try a shot here. So we're just going to do a half swing drill. So again, we're going to try and feel the club in this kind of shape, release and rotate it through to the finish. Okay. I'll just do another one there for you, and I'll try and go a little bit slower. And also I might slow it down on the editing as well. But let's just try another one and go a little bit slower. So you should see now by these shots there, the first one drew a little bit and the second one was pretty straight. Again, all I'm thinking of there is trying to match my arms and body up through that impact area, trying to make sure they both rotate and I get that kind of closing facet and the arms working facet on the way through. One more thing I'm just going to touch on is obviously the wrists. So again, ideally we want to feel that this wrist is headed slightly in a flex state all the way through this position here, rotating. Okay, so rotating and supinating. And again, ideally I want to see the thumb pointing away from the golf ball, the butt of the club pointing towards the golf ball, and this elbow pointing nearer to the golf ball also in that journey. That will help us release the club and give us some checkpoints to check, have we done that correctly? But it's important we're really committed to get there. We really have that commitment every single shot. Release the club, release the body, commit to getting through the ball, and you will see better results straight away. Hope you've enjoyed that video on the releasing the arms. If you have, please click like. It really helps my channel grow and I really appreciate that if you could do that. Also, chat down below. Tell me if there's any videos you want me to cover or if there's any questions you have, and I'll be sure to get back to you as soon as I can. Also, please subscribe. If you can subscribe, it means you get all my videos for free and you get all the notifications when I launch any videos, and I relaunch videos 3 times a week. Once again, thanks to GolfWRX Golf Resort for letting me film here this week.